Good day. Another episode of Brothers Crossing, and it's going to make you have a great day. Welcome to Brothers Crossing. I am Roro. I'm here with my friend, brothers Nando and Cub, and to my people in Sweden, Brothas.
Bilingual.
I'm expanding my lingo, bro.
Somebody
Is that
from
what
Japan or Zimbabwe, please teach him because I would like to hear this brother try to pronounce something for y'all. Please reach out.
So it's another episode of Brothers Crossing, and with Nando, Cub, we're here to make it a good day. It's going to be an interesting day. What's happening, guys? Tell me what's going on with you. How y'all feeling today?
I feel great. Off for a few days.
Pops, you feel
Played
good,
golf.
Pops?
Played golf today. Played better.
Okay,
Getting there.
look at it. Nando got it. Something.
It's called the Masters.
You know, when I'm
I think when
there
you talk about
in
masters, you got to
April,
say it soft.
Is that what Jim Lance says? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's
It
the
is all
Masters.
about the Masters.
to the Masters tournament, commercial free. Yeah, well, when I'm there in April, you know what I'm most excited about? Because you can't really get it from watching it on TV, is the elevation changes in that course. It is some major elevation, very dramatic. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'll pick you up a current t-shirt, Nando.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for looking out for a brother.
Yeah, you feeling all right, Nando? No COVID like your brother over there in
No,
the bush.
no COVID, but we know everything's going around. Anytime, people, if you got any sort scratchy throat or allergies and sinus, please start going to CVS, Walgreens, get some medicine immediately. Just don't let it linger like we usually do, because this strand that's out there is very, very bad. People are getting really sick for a long time from it. So please, you got an itch, you got a scratch, go get some medicine real quick.
Yeah, I concur.
Yes.
I concur. Like always, we're going to start with today's tidings. You guys let me know if you have any good tidings or bad tidings. I can start it off. And the only tiding I have, and it goes to somewhat of the premise of our show and how we're trying to cross from generation to generation. But this one kind of stuck out to me is because stuck in the past, people love to be. So I'm talking about this Cracker Barrel issue. It was a Cracker Barrel logo issue. It started as a Cracker Barrel logo issue. They were going to try to update it and change the logo from the old man sitting on the barrel with the Cracker Barrel name on it to a more modern, sleek, just said Cracker Barrel. And then they, as part of that rejuvenation of the brand, they were going to change some of the interior and kind of update the restaurants with a little less, more streamlined antiques and, better lighting and comfortable seats. And they got so much pushback that I feel like people from Cracker Barrel need to hear it from Brothers Cross. Don't know how they're stuck. They're like, nope, we don't want to change anything. While Cracker Barrel was losing money. Well, you can say, okay, I'm a cater to the people who always come, but I'm losing money. I'm trying to expand and upgrade it. So tell me, have you guys been to Cracker Barrel? Do you really care about the guy sitting on the barrel or whatever?
I haven't been to Cracker. I can't tell you how long it's been. A very long time. But changing your logo isn't going to make me want to run to your store.
Right.
Well,
But it's not right.
It's usually the food. It's the food. I mean, look at Red Lobster. They got a young brother running the company, saw what they were doing wrong, and has changed it. Still brought back some of the original items in the menu, but saw where they were just giving the house away with, unlimited shrimp and all this kind of stuff.
Right.
Those days are over. But for
Put some catfish in there.
yeah, totally, that would be awesome. But it's the food. It's the food. It's not your logo. It's not your logo. It's not going to change anything for me.
No, it's not your logo. And this happened a long time ago. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Boston Market.
Yes.
What happened with them is they had their own lane. They had special, there are two different types of chicken, all of these sides. And what they tried to do is they tried to capitalize on other markets. So they tried to expand with meatloaf. They started to expand with other items where they weren't as good or they weren't as high in those fields. So people stopped going to Boston Market because they overstretched their
Right.
thing. Now with Cracker Barrel, my mother, 3-year-old mama, loves Cracker Barrel. But the last time we took her, she was upset. She said the taste wasn't the same. The
Mm.
ingredients weren't the same. I don't
Kinda
know if they're
frozen
using the
probably, huh?
same, yeah, if the same spices that they were using, they kind of changed. So for me, when I heard that they changed the logo, it made sense. You're changing the food, you're going to change the logo to create. But what they didn't know was that people were going to provide some backlash where they were going to start to lose a lot of money. They didn't think that was going to happen.
Have they seen? Has anybody seen Kitchen Nightmares?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's the food. That
Yeah.
is
It is the
it.
food, and I agree with that, and
It
I think
takes
part
care
of
of the
their
rent. Takes
I think part of their, modernization was to update their dinner menu. I mean, you can only do so much with breakfast, but, like, the dinner menu, they were gonna try to
chicken fried
expand,
steak and yeah.
but all I know is, like, all this symbolism of old times and everything. The world changes people. All us old hard heads, including all three of us, we can sit there and talk about how great the past was, but we're trying to force something to the future. And the Brothers Crossing is trying to move it to the future, but bringing some of the old stuff with us, not to be stuck in the old concepts.
I
That's
never
that's
paid
my
attention to the old white cracker sitting by the barrel.
Oh,
I
you mean
never pa
Uncle Herschel? They call him Uncle Herschel.
Uncle Herschel.
Yeah.
Sorry, didn't pay attention to it.
Herschel
Yeah,
Walker? Was his name Herschel Walker?
Yeah, 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 that was an old one.
Yeah, yeah. Nando, what you got? I kinda took off the lead off because that one kinda
No,
flies in the face of what I want.
you're totally right, and that goes into our subject of change and everything else. So the one thing I wanted to bring up today to get your thoughts, both of your thoughts, is for people in our generation, what do you think those unemployment numbers really meant for what we need to do today, what we need to think about in our future?
For me, I think there are some hidden things, and I don't wanna go down the rabbit hole too far, but I think the employment concepts are changing. I know our current president wants to try to say, "Oh, the DEI is not a part of it, and we're meritorious," and we can talk ad nauseam about whether the people he chooses are meritoriously deserving of their jobs. But I think, like, the thing I was studying and preparing for today was the disparity in ethnic numbers. So I can start I would go down that path, but I'm gonna pass it to Cov to see what his initial reactions to the labor market numbers are right now.
well, I mean, I can see it firsthand. We deal with a lot of people in a lot of different industries from all over the country and globally. And, there's times that we'll have some conversation with some of our customers and starting to hear the same theme. It's getting more difficult to find a job. I think the policies that are being implemented are starting to have its effect and take its toll. I think uh, the intention was for it to have an opposite effect, but it's to the detriment. It's making matters worse.
Wish this country would understand that all presidents have been well intended. I don't think they're trying to ruin the economy. They're trying to. The current president has this thing about tariffs and whatever. But one thing you cannot deny is the numbers. You cannot deny the facts. Like you said, you see it and you feel it when you talk to people. And when the numbers are adjusted up and down, you can't say it's a lie. You actually just have to listen. You have to view the numbers as they are. You have to view them as facts. They're just not, you know, you can massage
Boots
them
on
to
the
make it.
ground.
Right.
Boots on the ground are
Right.
confirming the numbers. The
Yes.
people that we talk to, it's confirming the numbers. It's confirming the environment. A good friend of our son that grew up with is in the hospitality industry, and they had huge layoffs last year and finally caught up to her just within the last month. And the CEO was, trimming the fat
Yeah.
was the quote. But, it just seems to me since the '08 financial crisis that companies found a way to do more with less, and they kind of carried that forward for many years. They're doing more with less staff to try and increase their margins, and let's just buy back some more stock. Let's not invest in our employees. Let's just buy back more stock. That's the problem with publicly traded companies, in my humble opinion.
You
No,
brought it up. I mean,
well,
what triggered that in your head that you wanted to kinda
well, because of our constituents, the people that pay attention, I mean, this really should be something that they should be discussing with their friends, whether it's over a cocktail or just sitting back watching, because our world is changing. When you look at what happened in 2008, and then when you look at what COVID did, COVID hit a reset where it's totally different, where instead of you having to drive to the office, guess what? Now we have remote work. Now you can work from home. Now, because of COVID, people tried to find different things. So AI is taking place. And I think, Cole, you had just said that some of your friends or some people close to you are starting to lose jobs that aren't going to come back. So if these
Mm.
jobs aren't going to come back because of AI, you should start having this conversation to try to figure out to make sure that you as an individual is set up, because right now it's not going back the other way. It's not going back to the year 2000. It's not going back to where we have all these people going into the office, all these people going to lunch. No, we need to reverse that. We need to think about it. And you honestly need to have a conversation with yourself and as with your family to make sure you have something in place, because things are starting to change. So that's why I brought up the numbers for us to have an intelligent conversation about it.
Yeah, and I think that's true. And the one thing that not one of the many things you say, Cove, that are great, but the one thing you said today
Well, thank you. Thank you. I mean, that's the smartest thing you've said all night.
is to actually get boots on the ground. Where I think where politicians, and all of them, get it twisted is they know that numbers are numbers and you can make them look how you want to. And right now, the Bureau of Labor Statistics has an antiquated way of accounting for employment and unemployment. And they're using surveys, and people either don't answer surveys, or they don't participate in that thing. And if you don't get that participation, you don't get that accurate number. But what we can't do as politicians to say, we know that's the weakness of the Bureau of Labors and Security. I mean, labors and statistics, and say the numbers aren't right. It's the boots on the ground. You see the people that aren't getting employed. You can feel it, but they're going to spin it as if it's just the numbers. They know there's a weakness in there, and they're going to spin it to be like, well, the numbers aren't right.
Well, but throughout through each week they're updating first time applications for unemployment. You see that number each week. And
Yes.
as it starts to go up, I mean, that's an indicator. But then on the flip side, well, there's more people coming into the workforce. There's more people jumping back in. But why do they have to rush for the previous month's unemployment numbers to be the Friday immediately after the month closes out? Why does it have to be so soon? Because you're having to make these adjustments for, the next month for the previous 2 months. Why not wait till the second Friday after the month closes so you can get more accurate data? But who loves to see that information and make stock trades on it is Wall Street. Everybody's moving money back and forth and making their decisions and trades based on all of this information, even though it's flawed. It's flawed. So why rush to make it the first Friday? Wait a couple weeks, get more accurate data so people in the market can make more smarter decisions on what they're doing on the financial side, on the financial markets and so on.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense to me.
But I don't get how we don't have something advanced than surveys. So, for people who are listening, they know the way the Bureau of Labor Statistics calculates the labor numbers. They have two surveys. They have one called the Current Population Survey, and the second one is the Current Employed Survey. And that survey looks at actual payroll numbers and whatever. But then the population survey is more based on am I an individual in your household? Are you employed? That's not an accurate number. The population, I mean, the employment payroll thing, kind of, but like you said, it's delayed. It's not really as accurate. So, what there has to be a better way to get the numbers. And
Well,
I
but
don't, just because there's not an accurate way doesn't mean the numbers are way off. It just means we have to start looking externally, like you said, boots on the ground. You have to understand what people are telling you, how they're whatever. Just don't turn it into a story to fit your political or whatever agenda.
but those numbers are cumulative from, I mean, look at the ADP report that comes out. It's never the same or accurate to the actual number that gets posted on that next Friday. But you've got 80, there's so many payroll companies in the country. And, those numbers, when you get hired on, that stuff's banged in the system. You're a new hire, and that stuff is uploaded and goes to the government, I have to assume, and it's collated. Doesn't I just don't understand why there's such a huge swing in numbers when they're having to do these uh, adjustments. Whether it be more or less. I mean, at what point in the month do they stop with the live numbers and make assumptions to the end of the month to have to go back and make these adjustments later on?
Well, it goes back to where our society is. I had talked about earlier, we changed from 2000, we changed from 2008, now we change with COVID. They give us people who pay attention. There's a reason why we always get bad news on a Friday. There is a reason why they drop in on a Friday knowing that majority of people that are working isn't going to pay attention because they want to enjoy off of work. They want to be with their family. They want to do something else that a lot of those people aren't going to pay attention. And when Monday comes around, it's a new news cycle. So if
Michael,
you
yeah,
know of anybody, they're always dropping bad news on a Friday. Now, I don't understand the process. That'll be a good question to figure out. You're looking at a month of 30 days. When is it that you stopped figuring out the numbers and make assumptions? Is it 10 days before the end of the month? Is it 5 days? So that you're able to compute what those numbers really mean. So that is an interesting point you brought up that I never really thought about is when do they cut it off to make sure they document all the numbers and have them ready to go by the end of the month.
right, right. And I think an interesting thing, and for me, and kind of like done some research on this thing is again talking about boots on the ground, and we can talk about the surveys, we can adjust the numbers up and down, you know, we can do all those things. But when do you start to see certain things that happen? And I know that you're gonna, Mel, you sound like a lefty, Rodney. I'm somewhere. I'm a centrist. I would say when black unemployment goes up, there's a bad sign. It's a bad sign because traditionally black people are the first one to get let go. And I'm saying for us as an aging group, we have to be cognizant that the older people might be the ones to start getting let go as well. So and you talk about boots on the ground, you can look at all the numbers you want to. You start looking at those demographics, and when you start seeing those type of people lose their jobs, I think should start paying attention not only to the numbers but to the economic environment.
I think like you say, would boots on the ground, people pay attention. When do you think the environment is changing? It's changing when you lose your job. That's when
Exactly.
you
It's always
that's
personal, but a job thing is
that
personal. I don't care what
I know
anybody says. Oh, it's
that's when
business. No, it's personal.
shit is bad is when
Yeah.
you lose your job. And it's going to be that way with everyone else. But, you feel somewhat separated from it, well, because you're still employed. And then, it's happening to other people, but you're still working. And you think, well, it's bad, but it's not that bad. Then you realize how bad it is when you lose your
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
And for our listeners as well as for you too, I think on the side we have talked about this when we were hanging out, but right now things are changing. Everybody in our age group was looking at a retirement between 60 and 65. They were like, "Hey man, when I get there, I'm tired of working. I want to live my life now." Well, guess what? Now that's being pushed. It's being pushed to like 68. It's being pushed to so to people who are listening, that's why we want you to start to have the conversation, to think about it, to set it up, to understand that times are changing. It isn't like when we grew up. Now it's something different, and we have to adapt to it. And that's portion of it with the retirement age of going a little higher, that people, if they lose their job, then where are they going to work? They're going to have to work at a fast food. They're going to
Right.
have to work at something
Right,
like that
to extend
if
that
they can get
to
higher.
to cover that gap now that you knew moved
Yeah.
it from 67 to 68 or whatever the general number is gonna be, but then the trends are gonna be, okay, we can cut the older people or certain demographics or whatever, and like you said, you can plan your retirement at a certain age and then it gets cut. How are you gonna cover that gap between 60 or whatever and the retirement age? So, I mean, it's just worth paying attention, and it's just not numbers. I think the numbers kinda give you a kind of a tailwind or guide where things are blowing, but I'm not gonna get caught up in the numbers. I'm just saying if they start shrinking.
I mean, what you do to cover that gap is you start a podcast and hope that it takes off. That's what you do.
You start like,
You
"Please
start a
like and
podcast.
subscribe to me."
I would like to apologize for my other two brethrens. They are all the way to the right and to the left. I don't even know where this conversation is going.
I mean, that's just what you do, right?
No doubt.
Everybody's doing it. So why can't we? Why can't we be the hot thing in the
That's right.
And okay, let's say we're the hot thing in the market. What I would like to pose out there, even for our people that live in Australia, New Zealand, anybody that would like to come on and be a guest, please put it in the comment section, write us, and let us know why you should be a guest on our show, helping to spread the word or helping to spread knowledge to the people our age who were old enough but young enough to still get the boogie on. So just let us know if you would like to be a guest and the reason why, and we'll discuss it as a group and we'll figure it out.
And they can put in the
I
comment,
think
they can
even
send a video. I'd love a video too.
Hopefully that some of our listeners got something out of this. Just, if nothing, just for you to think about and have a conversation as you're driving home or if you're driving to a friend's house and, hey, did you guys ever think about this? And just to see what their viewpoint is and what they say, because the last thing I want is for anybody to be caught off guard. Like, oh, I wasn't prepared or I didn't. No, we're trying to
Yeah.
help you. We're trying to educate you. That's all.
But these environments, I think, drives entrepreneurship. You
Yes.
find yourself either laid off or what have you, and you kind of sit back, depending on what industry you're in, what segment of the employment market you're in. But drives. What am I trying to say? Right?
Well, I don't know what you're trying to.
To be an entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur.
See what's needed in the market. And I think it festers the people to start their own companies and try and fill those gaps where they see gaps in the market, which can be a good thing, obviously, but, where they've fallen down because of the current job market, there may be something on the other side that turns out being better for them.
Yeah. And for me, and you start off with the job numbers, and I agree. I think we have an antiquated system. I don't think it has an accurate way to reflect it. Just read the tailwinds. You can be the tailwinds, can be the part of the tailwinds of the numbers. Part of it when you talk to people around you. Well, that's it. Just pay attention. And as we are an older group, we become a more vulnerable group, and that's all I would want people to really get out of the conversation. To me.
I mean, out of you two, when's the last time, how long has it been since you've had to look for a job? How many years?
For me, it's been 14 years.
14, Nando?
It's me going on right now. I'm in the transition of looking for another job. The last job that I
But
had,
prior to this, how long before?
Papa's
like,
a Rolling Stone. He's a Rolling Stone. That whatever he lays at is his home.
yeah, it's been a long time, probably like 6, 7 years.
I went 25 years before having to, into my current role now, before I had
Nice.
to go through and start over and define a job. And it was completely different from when I first got a job to 25 years later applying as an older person over 50. It's not
Right. I get it.
not
I get
that
it.
easy for an older person. And the way they interview today, give me an example of
That's a
this. Give
show
me an
for
example of that. Give me,
that's a different show. But I
That
would
is a
say
totally different show.
you know, again, good conversation. Let's keep the energy up. Let's end it on a positive note because I do think, everybody's swimming in the same direction. As much as this society wants to think we're different, we're swimming in the same direction. But I notice you gentlemen every week have these lovely shirts on. And I know Nando, I know you're paying homage to Cub with the golf shirt. Cub, you seem to be in that lane of the rock and Rush, those type of group.
It's my
Give me
jam.
this your shirt and tell me what's your favorite song.
See, that's not possible. There are, it's
See,
like who's your favorite child?
hey
You
Nando,
know,
take that shirt off now.
No,
See,
no.
you kind of be.
I mean, gosh, you got Lavia Strangiato, you got Camera.
Just
But
give
see,
me
hold on, hold on,
one.
hold
Yeah,
on, hold it, Cub. We have listeners that see you wearing the Rush shirt that once you give them a song, they may go to iTunes to be like, this dude knows what he's talking about, or this dude was smoking crack when he told us what this song was. So give them one
Well,
song
I,
they
I
can
think
download.
I think a great for a starter. Let's do
intro.
it that way. An intro for this group. I think their first album should be Permanent Waves. Permanent Waves. You know, you got Free Will, The Tree. No, that's on the previous album. Free Will, and Free Will's probably a good song for him, but the album itself is be a good starter. You two should listen. You might come to my side.
Try that. In the words of Jim Nance, that was not a good shot.
All right, Roro, what do you have on? He had on heavy metal. So what do you have?
It's not heavy metal. Stop it with that.
Okay, it's rock.
It's blasphemy. It's progressive music.
What you will see me wear a lot is a lot of black record labels, right? Everybody wants to have a record label. So I have all of them. I have, uh, Payday, Tough Row, Tough Jam, Bad Boy.
I
But
don't see Cracker Barrel on there.
the one that's more appropriate is Jive Records. And that's where my favorite song from Boogie Down Productions come. I'm still number one, just like I'm in the Fantasy Football League. Still number one.
Yeah. Okay. What was that a group?
Boogie Down Production,
Boogie Down
KRS-One, Scott
Productions.
LaRock.
Come
Who?
on, man. You got to expand your horizons. If you want us to expand our horizons listening to that modern progressive rock music, you got to expand your horizons and
Maybe
listen to
dance
80s
music.
and 90s hip hop.
You know who I am a huge fan of, and this is going to shock you. Huge fan
You
of
better
the
not
Bee
say
Gees.
Will Smith.
The Bee Gees. Huge fan of the Bee Gees. You
What
want to
does that have
talk
to do?
about some songwriting fools?
Hey,
Those
Fernand,
guys,
take
and
us
they
out.
wrote
Take
hits.
us out.
They wrote hits for other people.
Take us out.
Ladies
Bee
and
Gees?
gentlemen,
Stop
ladies
it.
and gentlemen, the Bee Gees may be invited to the barbecue, but Cub will not be invited to the barbecue. I just want to let you know. His song selection will not be invited to the queue. Just want to let everybody know. Thank you for coming to hang out with us. Always a pleasure. Come in the comments. Let us know what you think about that Free Willy song. Not the Michael Jackson one, but the one from Rush, if you like that one.
Free Will, not Free
Yes.
Willy. Free Will.
Same thing.
And always look left, look right. Brothers crossing. Good night.
See you guys.
See ya.